Hello and welcome back to Triple E2, where we are now well and truly into the... Oh, I can hear an echo. Uno Minito. This is loud. There we go. I'm dead. There was a crazy echo. I was confused and I was scared. I'm sorry. But we are at the winners bracket final, so the semi-final if you want to look at it that way. And we have TEC up against Lemondogs. Both these two teams very good indeed. We've got Hardpoint on raid, and I am joined by the one, the only, the lovely Trout91. How are you doing, Trout?
Oh, what a lovely intro. I'm doing good, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not gonna lie, pretty nervous about this game. Obviously, I'm part of the TEC organisation, as you know, and hoping my boys are going to do well, as always. And TEC.Sweden I've been a fan of since I sort of first actually joined the competitive community. So I'm hoping these guys are going to produce the goods. But right now, it is looking like Lemondogs are off to a great start. I'm on board with TMW right now, and he's just taking down TEC.Alex, and he's rotating around towards the next hardpoint. Now, have you played a lot of hardpoint at all?
I haven't really played a lot of it. I've played enough of it to know generally where the hardpoints spawn and how to play it, but I don't know the specific order of it.
Right. Well, at the minute, what we've noticed a lot of from a few of the competitive games we've seen, and obviously the game is still relatively new. I mean, it's only been out just over a month now. But what we've noticed is there tends to be a role in hardpoint known as the anchor role, and we saw Tommy do it a lot at ISOs, and Tommy did it very well. We thought for a minute his controller dropped and he was just lying there for no apparent reason. But basically all he does is control the spawns. I mean, we've seen a few players at Triple E2 just take over that role, play the anchor, try and set up ready for the next hardpoint, which is exactly what TEC.Alex is doing just there, because he's nowhere near the current hardpoint. 21 seconds left. He's trying to hold the spawns for his team. But we're on board with Stoltz right now, and Stoltz has been playing so well Triple E2. He's just been playing amazingly. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can continue that rampage right now as he's making his way down the left-hand side to set up for the next hardpoint.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Stoltz has decided to go, oh dear. A bit of a fail there. Unfortunately, the glass got the better of him that day. Maybe he might challenge him to a 1v1 after the game and sort this business out, but a bit of a fail. Those are the things that you can't afford to be doing in a semi-final. It's just one of those things, but I'm sure he'll be looking back on it in a day or two and be like, what on earth was I thinking? But it is interesting to see how he's picked the assault rifle on a map that really does not cater too well for the assault rifles. Maybe in this area that Mallow currently is where you want to be having your assault rifles do the work. But other than that, in a lot of these places, the hardpoints are in some very small, close areas where the XM8 is probably not going to be doing the greatest amount of work. And it's not the strongest gun either, so having something like a PDW, which has got a lot of ammo in it, might not necessarily be a strong gun, but it's certainly going to have the ammo to come with it to take out multiple enemies if necessary. So maybe he should possibly think about switching to something a little bit more mobile, a little bit more practical in the map that we're playing, but at the same time, if it's going to work for him, that's all that matters in the end, and he might just be playing that role that just keeps people off, sticks at a distance, tries to keep up behind cover and pick people off, and he's doing a good job here. He's actually got a 2-piece a minute ago. He's picked up yet another kill. And is there a respawn delay in Hardpoint? I don't think there is there?
No, there isn't. I don't believe.
Do you think there should be?
See, it's an interesting one. I think there should be. I think there should not exactly a huge, we're not talking 7.5 seconds like we see in CTF, but I'm thinking, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, have I just done goofed? Is there actually a 3-second respawn? Yeah, no, I lie. I'm goofing. There is a 3-second respawn delay. Yes, I realised. I was just looking then. I was like, wait, there is. It's the NA rule. I think there wasn't one. I was casting that the other day, and it was very fast tempo. But they don't actually have a time limit, so it's even weirder over there. But anyway, moving on. There is a small respawn delay, but I think the question is it really enough? Because we still see, like I was talking about the anchor roll with the spawns and etc. holding the spawns. If there isn't an anchor, you can spawn essentially next to the hard point. So it's kind of like if there isn't a spawn delay which is long enough, your hard point's always going to be contested. But I suppose that's kind of good in a way. Because it means there's always going to be, you know, gunfights going on, like we see now. That hard point just continuously changing. In literally a matter of 10 seconds, it's gone from each team back again. So it's a massively fast tempo game. But to be honest, we touched on it a little bit earlier, me and Bryce. It's one of these games that I think Call of Duty needed. And I'm pretty sure you were talking about it as well. That, you know, since we don't use Domo, it's nice to have that extra game mode involved in competitive Call of Duty.
It's certainly interesting to watch. It kind of almost throws organization out the window. You can't really do set things and set strategies for this kind of game mode. All you can do is kind of say, you do this, you do that. Like Stoltz, you sit in this building and you try and pick people off from a distance, which he's doing a pretty good job of actually at the moment. And then have the rest of them try and get in there and collect the points as quickly as possible. And it's a very tight game so far. Usually a lot of the competitive hardpoint games I've seen have been very much open and have really kind of been decided almost from the get-go, in a sense. And it's interesting to watch such collectively calm and strategical teams suddenly just completely lose the plot when they play this game. And there's like... especially at iSeries, I was watching a lot of teams, they would absolutely dominate something like Search and Destroy, but when it came to Hardpoint, they really didn't quite know what they were doing. It seemed to be they couldn't get their bearings right, everything was all over the shop, and they weren't really sure how to set up and organize. And Stoltz actually going on a bit of a rampage here. Unfortunately gets taken down by Alex in the end, and the contested Hardpoint in the kitchen, it appears this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is undergo.
That was unfortunate. I'm not sure if you saw that, but TMW, friendly fire obviously on competitive Call of Duty, and he threw the nade into the kitchen and took his teammate out, which is not the smartest thing you could possibly do in the semi-final. So hopefully he's going to try and redeem himself a little bit. But Stoltz is playing very, very well indeed. He's 16 and 13. What's interesting is Nixon, the player that we've said is, you know, continuously one of the best players in this tournament, is having a bit of an off day, I think it's fair to say. He's going 9 and 22. Obviously, everyone is allowed a bad game. Let's not say, you know, it's the end of the world, etc. But not playing at his usual best, maybe losing that free-for-all has knocked his confidence a little bit. But we will go ahead and change team now, get on board with TEC for the second half of this hardpoint game. And straight away, I am on board with TEC Alex, who has managed to get himself into the hardpoint at the bottom, but he's actually died. So we default now over to TEC Mars.
Yeah. It's certainly an interesting battle. I'm still watching Nixon. I think more is he might be having an off day, as you said, in these last few games. But it seems like more what he's doing is not necessarily trying to kill people, it's just trying to keep people off. So it seems like he's doing a lot of pre-firing, he's doing a lot of grenade chucking, he's trying to keep people off the hard point for as long as possible and see if they can essentially low up those points as quickly as possible. So they've actually died here. There's 20 seconds, 15 seconds on the hard point, and they're going to be thinking, okay, let's not bother trying to contest this hard point anymore. Let's go move on to the next hard point. I think that's why hard point is one of those game modes that's going to be very, very popular, and it's going to be quite an interesting one. There's some strategy involved in it, and the thing that's going to turn the game in teams' favors is knowing when to let a hard point go and knowing when to get onto a hard point. Because as you see, TEC have already got back onto that next hard point. They've gone straight for it instead of wasting time on a couple of points on the last hard point. They've gone straight for the new one.
Absolutely, and Alex is going absolutely massive for TEC right now as they're about to level it up. It's 207, 208, tied game, and TEC are going to take the lead now. We have plenty of time left. It looks like it is going to go first to the score limit, which is going to be 250. This cannot be won on this hard point in the game, so it's all about who gets the good setup on the next one, which comes exactly to your point there, Trout. When do you set up on the next hard point? How much time do you give? And it looks like right now TEC aren't wasting any time. They're going to try and set up on this next hard point as quickly as possible. On board with Virex, using that MAA1 double headshot. Nice play coming from him, using that on burst. Can he find the third? He could, but couldn't take him down as Stoltz jumps in and manages to shut him down. TEC Alex drop, but TEC do have control over this hard point early on. However, it looks like the Dogs are going to dive into that hard point and get some control over it now. So this is going to go down to the wire. Lemondogs only 15 points away from winning now.
Yeah, it's a close game. We've got 5 minutes left. We're coming to the almost the end of the points that are allotted. And to be honest, I feel like with hardpoint, they should almost set an unlimited amount of points and just play to the timer. Put like a 10-minute time on the game and just play until the time limit runs out. Because I think it would certainly make it a bit more strategical, especially in the switching over. It seems like it's more just a rush for the hill and try and get those points as quickly as possible.
It seems that way, as Tech have done a good job of ensuring that Lemondogs aren't going to win on that hardpoint. There's 3 seconds left on it. They need to set up on the B-Domo hardpoint. And as you can see now, Lemondogs 5 points away from victory. Tech 20 points. This is going to go all the way down to the wire. The question is, where are Lemondogs spawning? As both Martz and Svan get kills, Virix gets the third. Alex does die into the Nixon nade, I think, but it looks like they are going to tie it up. They've had control of this hardpoint the entire time at the beginning. It's a tied game. There's 4 points in it. Can Tech go ahead and take the win in the last few seconds? It looks like they're going to be able to do so. My God, what a comeback. That was fantastic play from TEC, controlling that B-Domo hardpoint, and they are going to go ahead and take the first map in this best of 5 winners bracket final. And that was just some fantastic setup there by Tech. And this is what I was talking about earlier on when I was mentioning the anchor role in hardpoint. You have to have someone controlling the hardpoint spawns, and Lemondogs right there, they didn't have that. And you know, when you got Nixon 18-33, like you mentioned earlier on, you were watching him a little bit, he was the player that was just sort of trying to contest stuff as opposed to actually making those kills. But you need to have that one person controlling those spawns, because Tech just did such a fantastic job of keeping that the initial hardpoint in the middle of the map contested for long enough to be able to set up and control the spawns for the next one, which means they are going to go 1-0 up in this winners bracket final. And God, that was a close game.
Yeah, and as I said, when it comes to the switching over between the hardpoint locations, you saw that how much time was left on that original hardpoint, and they thought, okay, they're not going to be able to win it on this hardpoint. Let's move ourselves over to the next one. Let's control the entire area. Let's get ourselves set up and ready to go. And who is it? Svan had a great little area, had lots of cover, could see where people were coming from, managed to pick up a kill or two, and just put himself in a very good position. They just managed to completely control the next hard point and get themselves back into the game.
It was fantastic play right there by Tech. Genuinely didn't think they'd be able to do it. Lemondogs seemed to be getting some decent spawns, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Tech's just shifted into the next gear. But guys, if you haven't done already, enter the Squid Grip giveaway. The link has been put into the shout. So all you have to do is give EE a cheeky little follow and retweet that last tweet for your chance to win some awesome Squid Grips. But it's going to be 1-0 in this winners bracket final to TEC. We're going to see some capture the flag on overflow. Now, Trap, your thoughts on this map? Do you like this map or dislike it?
I play a lot of dominations, which, in all honesty, I don't think it's something I can really make a fair judgment on the map, how it plays out for capture the flag. I think just looking at the whole setup of the map and the game mode, I think it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to probably be, it's going to be a good game mode for capture the flag, at least. I like the fact that they've got, there's 3 main routes to get to either side of the map. There's up this corridor that we're watching Martz play on. There's the right-hand side, which has a few more extra little corridors to it, and then there's the big open middle space, which I assume not a lot of people will be making runs through there, but for obvious reasons. But it's certainly going to be a nice little map for capture the flag. Very straightforward. No weaving in and out of different areas and stuff. It seems to just be a straightforward run up and down the edge from either side of the map and see how it goes. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting one. Tech really taking this game by storm to start off with. They seem to have put the entire team down. They're going to pick up the flag and run it. They've got a lot of cover as they run down this alleyway. Hopefully they will be able to pick up the easy 1 point to start off this game. And I believe they will do. Mart's doing a lot of the work there on the flag runner, and it is 1-0 up for Tech.
Yeah, Mart's done a great job of getting a few players down and then actually pulling that flag. He's controlled this left-hand side, like you said, for the majority of the game. But what's interesting is when we're talking about the sort of the map layout, like you say, we have that 3 channels. We have the middle, the left, and that far right-hand side, the boatyard that we've sort of named it. But we don't see a lot of players actually utilise the boatyard. It seemed as such a bad spawn because it's a lot quicker to pull the flag the way we saw Martz do it. But it's very rare that we see anyone even venture into the boatyard, which to me seems strange because it seems a good way of sort of overextending, going for a cheeky little flank, maybe even a pull, you know, just try and bamboozle your opposition, try and pull the flag somewhere different. but not a lot of teams actually use it. But as it stands, like you say, TEC are 1-0 up, 3 minutes still to go. And it just doesn't seem like Lemondogs are able to actually apply that much pressure on the left-hand side. TEC are doing a good job of defending as we're on board with Svan now. Just playing a little bit of defense, pulls out his cap 40 for that close-range gunfight he's anticipating. He knows there's going to be somewhere around the fountain as he waits very patiently. Mark's getting 2 down. Last guy is going to be the flag runner, and he runs it straight into Svan, who's going to get that return. Great play coming from him.
Yeah, TEC seem to be really locking down the area. They know what they're doing. They've got the 1-0 advantage so far. And it looks like they're very much comfortable with sitting it out and waiting for the end of the game with this 1-0 lead. And the way they're setting up this defensive position is very, very good. And Svan just actually taking out one of his own players there, unfortunately. But either way, as long as they've got the flag under control, he's actually doing a good job here sitting and waiting for someone. He knows someone's going to come around there. Unfortunately, the grenade picks him off. And Virex is taken out there. Alex is down. It looks like that Lemondogs might be able to pull off a flag cap. Mart's going big with the 2-piece. Unfortunately, fails the 3-piece. Could have really saved his team there with the flag cap. But unfortunately, he doesn't get the kill he wanted.
No, that would have been a montage piece easily there if he'd have hit that 3-piece. He managed to get the 2 though and the return, so he's just saved the day a little bit for TEC, but still, pressure is on. Lemondogs are applying that pressure. Nixon, once again, not having the greatest CTF. Something is seems to be bothering. It's got to be that free-for-all loss. I'm definitely blaming the free-for-all loss because Nixon was playing so very well all of yesterday. Don't get me wrong, he's not playing bad. He's just not playing as good as we really want to see him. But Mart's is going to have the flag carrier in front of him. And oh my days, Mart's shutting him down. 2-piece again, but he's actually stunned himself going for the return. Is he going to get it? He is just about. But Mart's saving the day twice now. Doing very, very well. 10 and 5, 1 cap, 2 returns. Top fragging for TEC. But as we approach the 1 minute mark, this is a very, very tight first round.
Yeah, Martz is really, really saving his team a lot in this case. He's getting a lot of the kills. The crucial kills are the ones that matter. It's not about padding up your score. It's about getting those kills that stop teams from winning the game, essentially. He's putting himself in really into the action. Some of his positioning, like in that room, he was a little bit out of the game. He didn't really have anywhere to be. So sometimes he might want to reconsider positioning himself positioning himself into a better situation.
No, completely agree with you there. As we're on board with Virex, who's just going to be covering that flag. Actually, TEC have pulled the flag. It's Martz again doing the OBJ work. Virex is in a very nice position to just try and cover, but Lemondogs TMW going big for his team. They're getting a 2-piece on Martz and Spawn. Flag will be dropped and no doubt returned in a matter of seconds. However, it's still away. There we go. It has been returned now as Virex finally moves, shutting down Nixon, but there is someone on the flag. 4 seconds left, though. It isn't going to make much difference as this first round is going to end 1-0 to TEC in a very, very close game. I mean, we saw that hardpoint game previously. That was very close. It went down to the wire. They won by, I think it was eventually like 4 points to TEC in the advantage. It was a ridiculously close game, and it looks like this is going to go the same way. Very, very close indeed. But we will go ahead and change team now to spectate Lemondogs on this second side, where we're on board now with Nixon. And let's have a look what Nixon can do as he's making his way down this left-hand side, cooking that nade, but nades are going to come flying in at him as well, but he's got the stuns. He's going to connect with the stuns. He is most probably going to get a few hit markers, and now he is going to have the license to challenge, but he's very weak indeed. Finds one player up top. That's going to be TEC Alex. Guys play coming from him. Can he find the second? No. Shut down.
One thing I want to see Lemondogs do differently in this round is really start to push as a team, start to make more organized pushes. The reason TEC did so well and managed to get their flag cap in the beginning was because they pushed as a team, they organized, they weren't trying to rush the flag cap, they were slowly, progressively moving up that left-hand side. They managed to pick off all the team and then set themselves up nicely for the return and get the point that they needed. So I want to see Lemondogs maybe start to push as a team and try and get a couple kills, slowly and progressively move forward. There's no real rush. You got 4 minutes. As long as you're getting a couple kills, that's what you got to do. And it seems like they're starting to do that now. They've taken out most of the team. They've got an organized push, and they are going to get the point back that they needed. So I should shut up now.
I've just seen an interesting point in the stream chat. A few people saying, why do we not use Codcaster? And the answer to that is Codcaster is a great tool. However, it is a bit problematic to use online simply because it would require all 3 people spectating the same thing at the same time. So it means our producer in Sweden would have to be watching the same thing that we are. I mean, myself and Chris and Brycey, when we're casting, would have to be spectating the same thing. And with Codcaster, the whole point of Codcaster is that you can utilize that tool to have so many different, features, and it's more dynamic. You can spectate multiple things. So it just means it's very, very difficult to use, which is why we've gone old school. We're just going spectator mode only to make things easier. But that's all on the card casting feature. But as it stands, 1 flag apiece, 3 minutes 2 seconds in this game still to go. Lemondogs versus TEC, very, very close game. That hardpoint game earlier on was extremely close, but we are on board now with Stoltz, who's going to find a 2-piece on the enemy flag. Is he? Yes, he is. Nice win. No, he's not. Gets denied. Virex actually outgunning him with the MSMC, which means TMW is going to be the last alive. Stunning that flag. Needs to be a little cautious now, though.
Our flag has been taken.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a good play. Unfortunately, Lemondogs got themselves caught out, and they are going to pay the prices. They're probably going to lose this flag now. They're going to try and chase it down. I don't think it's going to do much, and they actually get the point. TEC now in the lead, 2-1. I think it really is time for one of these teams, especially Lemondogs, considering the situation they're in, is to try and change things up. Maybe utilize the right-hand side of the map more, because no one's really made much of an effort to push down there. And it is, considering how the teams end up, the way they set up is very much down this whole alleyway. I don't think many people are going to expect one person to run up the side and make some trouble up there. And one thing that TEC could certainly do to disrupt Lemondogs and stop them from making such a high push is go up into their spawn, up that right-hand side, and just put off a couple of shots. You don't even really need to kill anyone. Chuck some grenades, fire off your gun, make a party for yourself, make a nuisance of yourself, and just kind of get the focus more onto that one person than the flag.
Just be a bit of a nuisance, basically, is what you're trying to say. Try and put Lemondogs off the game a little bit. And to be honest, I completely agree with you. I mean, we saw Sowers do it when he was playing under Visions at I-Series. He did just that. He went around that left-hand side and he just tried to cause a little bit of a nuisance, and he succeeded very well, even when the opposite team couldn't actually pull the flag and they were too busy worrying that someone was going to counterpull. Having said that, Malo actually has the flag for Lemondogs, and this is looking very good. It is, in fact, going to go in now. It's going to tie this game up. It is going to be 2 flags apiece here at EEE2, and it looks like Stoltz is going to try and make it 3-2 to Lemondogs. He's pulled the flag, got a nice kill. Stoltz playing very well. Dolphin diving around the corner now, making his way down this right-hand side. Marks is there, going to try and contend it though, and you see he's had to slow his tempo down, has the support of one player, and that's going to be Malo who actually picks off that kill, and this flag looks like this is going to go in as well.
Yep, Lemondogs really are starting to push as a team, whereas in the last game it was all I think they panicked a little bit when they lost that first flag, but it seems they composed themselves a lot better in this round, and they've managed to pull out 3 flags with very well organized pushes. It seems more communication is going down than there was in the last game.
Our flag has been dropped.
Completely agree with you there, as it game is going to come to an end. TEC are not going to be able to pull that flag away with enough time, or are they? Alex going big for his team, getting the 1 kill and the knife, but you can see TMW put his controller down. He's happy. That is going to be 1 map apiece now, as we are going to see some search and destroy. And I believe the map, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Standoff. Standoff, one of my favorite maps in Black Ops 2. It's awesome. I really, really love it. It's so small, so compact. It just reminds me of a good old-fashioned 4v4 map, and we always see some good action. But guys, if you haven't done already, enter our Squid Grip giveaway. The link will no doubt be somewhere in the chat box. Hopefully, I'm praying somewhere as I'm saying this. There we go, there it is. So go ahead, click that, give EEE a cheeky little follow, retweet that status, and you have your chance of winning a lovely Squid Grip. I've got some upstairs. Haven't actually put them on my controller yet because I'm waiting because I'm getting a new controller, but I've been told they're pretty awesome. Trout, you use them and you said they're awesome.
They are indeed awesome. Not much to say about it other than just awesome. So you should definitely get them, because that's what the cool kids use these days.
What all the cool kids are using. So go ahead and retweet that status for your chance to win a few free pairs. So it's worth doing. It's definitely worth doing. But let's have a look. The next map, like we say, is going to be some standoff S&D, and we're just going to wait for this game to get away. It seems Nixon wants to go into Codcaster. That's what it looks like. But also, I saw someone mention a listening saw a few people asking for listening. I don't think we're actually available to do so because, as you can see, the teams aren't actually in game chat, etc. I mean, the EE could have technically asked them to, but I don't think they would want to. Quite a lot of people, obviously, daisy chaining their mics, etc. And there we go. A few people have gone to the toilet, I have been informed. They're having a quick toilet break, which is actually what we started talking about at iSeries. The use of tactical toilet breaks. Chat, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've had some of my greatest thoughts when I'm on the toilet, so it's probably in their best interest.
Yeah, I know, like, I actually made this as a valid point. People are going to be like, oh, shut up, Benson, he knows nothing about esports, he's trying to ruin... Yeah, see, Swiggles has put tactical toilet break match. That's what I'm talking about. Someone's got my... Basically, in tennis, when you think about it, Roger Federer he may go down a set and he may think, oh, I'm just going to go to the toilet. Make your opponent think, or maybe when you're up, you do it. If you kind of get what I mean. Players will be winning and they'll go for a toilet break, and then the other player sat there going, oh,
flow a little bit.
Exactly, make them sweat, make them think, oh my god, what am I going to do? Tactical toilet breaks in COD. I don't see why we can't use them. I think it'd be good. I think each team should be allowed a toilet break, and you're allowed to use it tactically. If you actually need it, go to the toilet. It's always a possibility. You may actually need the toilet. But anyway, moving away from the tactical toilet break discussion, standoff S&D going to get underway. We have TEC versus Lemondogs in this winners bracket final. TEC actually haven't been beaten so far, so they're looking at trying to maintain that. But like we say, we are going to be casting some S&D, so our call-outs will go a little bit vague, shall we say, as the game has actually ended, but I'll explain why. We are actually on the live PA announcement at the event, so we don't want to be giving the players too many sneaky little call-outs. The host has actually ended the game. Not entirely sure why. Everyone is in here and on the correct team, so maybe they done goofed on the rules. That would be the closest thing. But a lot of people really want to listen in, but I've explained we can't really do that. You have to tweet at EEE and beg them for a listening, so I suggest you do that. It's at European Esports Event, I believe. Tweet at them and say, we want listen-ins, and if enough people tweet, I'm sure they'll try and sort something out, but that's not in my control. I'm just a mere caster. I don't organise. A listening would be awful anyway, apparently. It'll be in Swedish, yeah, of course.
We'd have to get someone to come and translate what I say.
In fact, yeah, we could get Big Burns in the Skype combo and translate into English. That'd be fun. We could do that, maybe. I'm sure if Burns is watching, he's like, no way.
We'd have to get them into game chat first. Let's tackle one hurdle at a time.
One hurdle at a time. Yes, true that. Very, very true. But Search and Destroy standoff. Again, awesome map, awesome game type. Definitely my favorite game type, Search and Destroy. I'm a massive Search fan. And we are going to start things off with Nixon. Now, Nixon, like we were saying, played amazing yesterday. Was in the running for MVP without a shadow of a doubt. Played in that free-for-all tournament. The first two maps that myself and Trout saw were just... He made it look simple. Then the third map, he didn't look so strong. And since then, we haven't seen the same Nixon we saw yesterday. Not sure if those two factors are interlinked, so to speak, but we'll see if he can try and pick it up now as he's playing very, very patiently. Going to try and cook that nade, but I'd be surprised if there's anyone in there. No, there isn't. And he has to take his time. Now Trout, 1 minute 30 is obviously the time limit we use in competitive Call of Duty. Do you think that's long enough?
I think... yes. To put it simply, I think it certainly makes for a more what's the word I'm looking for? I suppose exciting would be the word as a spectator, but it's also a case of how well can you think on your feet and how good are your strategy. It's more about the strategies, because if it was any longer, you could kind of sit around, pussyfoot for a little bit and see what happens and hope something does indeed happen. As Nixon actually starting to pick up some momentum in this round, gets a lovely little kill there. But I think, it's certainly going to be a case of, is your strategies as good as you think they are? It's not a case of wait around and wait for something to happen, as he's going to actually go and see if he can get a plant here.
But no.
Unfortunately, he was in the completely wrong area to really be. He didn't have much of an advantage there. There wasn't really much going to happen for him, and Marks picks up a very easy kill and secures the round for his team.
All I'm gonna say is,
Switching
Mark's
operation
must
ready
have
to
his
play.
headset on full volume. You know he is sweating that out because he heard that bomb being planted. But we'll change team, get on board with the attacking side because that's just how we roll in Search and
Charges
Destroy. We're always
acquired.
watching the attacking team, and we're on board with Tech Alex now, who is making familiar moves down this right-hand side. We see a lot of players always doing a similar sort of thing. And let's have a look now. Alex is going to throw that Semtex over. Don't think that's going to connect them. No, it doesn't actually connect. So he is going to have to just rethink his strategy and take his time. Now, as I was saying about the time limit, now, because I'm a Search and Destroy fan, I've said this since the beginning. Obviously, Modern Warfare 3, the rule set we used was 2.5 minutes, and I thought that was too long, because it meant that you could, as you put it, pussyfoot around, camp at the back of the map, essentially not do much. And that prevents boring gameplay, etc. But for me, 1 minute 30 is, on the attacking side, you have to pretty much say, I'm going to go to A or B bomb site, and once you've made that decision, you kind of have to stick to it. You don't have much leeway, especially on bigger maps. So I've always said I think maybe a 2-minute round limit would be a little bit better, but that's just me. It's actually Malo going big there for Lemondogs, getting a 2-piece to end things up. But what would you reckon about a 2-minute round limit? Do you reckon that would be too long?
I think that would be a good time, because obviously we want it to be instant almost. Nice little double kill, final kill count there. You want it to be interesting and fast paced. You don't want people to be able to think too much
Charges
on
acquired.
their feet almost. You kind of want them to have their strategy and go with it. You don't want almost, I should say, you don't want luck almost to come into effect because someone thought of doing something else instead of sticking to their original plan. Because if you have an original plan, you do, as you said, you have to stick with it and you have to go with it whether it works out or not. And it kind of, it presents this sort of consistency in Search and Destroy. In Search and Destroy, I always found it to be a fairly inconsistent game mode, in a sense, because something can work fine in one way when you do it, but it might not work out the same for another. And realistically, if you think about it, if you're on defense, you shouldn't really ever lose on a defense.
Yep, I completely agree.
But I think with the timer, it's kind of presenting that factor that you can give the attackers a sort of a push, because there's not enough time. I don't even know if I'm getting my point across. You kind of, because there's so little time, they have to do something. They have to get out there and do something and disrupt the defense a lot more than they probably would do if there was a 2.5 minute timer.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I agree what you mean. But when you mentioned that, on Search and Destroy, you should never ever lose the losing round when you're on defense. You should never ever lose that. And you find the teams that once they can win an attacking side, that's when they will start to sort of build themselves a bit of a lead and start to get a little bit of momentum in the Search and Destroy. So Virex just went massive for TEC. We'll change team again, get on board with the attackers, and it is actually going to be Tech. And we're on board with Alex once again. Tech currently 2-1 up in this Search and Destroy, and as it stands in this best of 5 winners bracket final, it is 1-1 in mapped. Let's see if Tech can produce something magical, as Tech Alex actually got a stun hit marker but couldn't connect with the Semtex, and we see lots of players, again, always pushing that right hand side early on, throwing the Semtexes across, and they don't seem to get hit marked. It seems kind of a waste of your nades, because nades can be really important in Search and Destroy.
I'm not sure how I feel about this map for Search. You want the attackers to have as much advantage as possible, really. You want them to be, they've got the hard work to do in this. So you want to give them as much advantage as possible. I don't think the location of the whole map layout and the location of the bomb site, I don't really think it's given the attackers any sort of advantage at all. I remember COD 4, Vacant was probably the worst Search and Destroy map ever in history, because it just did not give any advantage to the attackers in any form. There was only ever one bomb site you were ever going to go to, and it was indoors, and you just had so much cover for the defensive side that it really didn't give the advantage to the attackers in any form whatsoever. And I think that is probably why I'm not a huge fan of I'm not as big a fan of Search and Destroy as I used to be, is because if it's not going to give the attackers anything to go with, you kind of really are screwed. And I suppose it really doesn't help having a lower time on the games as well. You want to have a little bit more time to think about it, think, oh, maybe I should do this. Could possibly take a little bit of time, make the defense feel a little bit antsy about what's going on just by wasting a couple of seconds or two, and make them think, where are these guys? Maybe they're planning something differently. Maybe I should reposition myself. Maybe I should turn around and go over here. And by the time they put that thought through their mind, they get caught out and they're dead and the game is over and they're given up a very easy point.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how I feel about this map. I don't think it's a great search and destroy map. I don't know if there are how many other search and destroy. Are there any other search and destroy maps?
As in, like
I
this
think
map,
Raid is a search and
do you
destroy.
mean do you mean in general, or do you mean just as in search and destroy maps that play out a lot like this?
No,
'Cause, I mean,
like how many other maps are played
Oh,
in competitive for
there
search?
there is a few. I mean, what Raid is one, I believe. To be honest, hold on, I will find that out. I'll find the
I know
exact-
Meltdown is one.
I'll just drop
Meltdown's
the
actually
microphone.
quite a nice map. I think it probably because even though it seems like there's not a great advantage for the attackers, there's still a good number of different ways that you can approach each bomb site. And the fact that there are long sites of engagements, there's no real places for the defenders to sit in a corner and kind of use a lot of cover to their advantage. I think maps that almost present an open bomb site with a little cover is a very good search and destroy map, because it means that either teams can realistically win or come out on top.
I know what you mean. I see where you're going with that. But I mean, for S&D, there's Aftermath, Slums as well. Now, Slums is very similar. This is why I was asking, do you mean similar to like this map? Slums is very similar to this map in the sense of its size. Plaza is S&D, Meltdown. Express as well, obviously the map with the fast train going down the middle. Cargo is an S&D map. There's a fair few search and destroy maps that we've got. I mean, yeah, someone has just actually written it in the chat. Thank you, Exterus Berserk. Just got the S&D maps off the DEV 1.1 rule set. So there's a fair few, but I mean, for me, Slums is not the best S&D. I would say out of all these search and destroy maps we have, I would say Slums is probably the worst. So I would say I hate that map. I would literally go as far as to say I hate that map. That's very rare for me because, like I say, I'm a search and destroy player. I love search, and I hate that map. As Virex actually just annihilates Nixon, and that is already going to give the advantage there to Tech, who 3-3. We're seeing another very tight game. All the games we've seen between these two teams have been very, very close. That it could just be the search and destroy which separates these two teams.
Yeah, it's coming down to that point where someone's gonna have to make a mistake. Someone is going to make the mistake, and they're essentially gonna give up the advantage to the other team. And it's just about, you can give away mistakes in the early rounds. It might be a bit of a problem. It might influence the game a little bit, but it can be made up in the later rounds, and it's rounds like this that are very, very crucial to keep your nerve and not throw something away. And unfortunately, Marks is just absolutely on point at the moment. He is really playing very, very well, getting a lot of crucial two pieces to ensure that his team is still in this and going to keep fighting to the end.
Yep, so Tech now have a 1-point lead, 4-3. They're going to be on attack right now. We're going to get on board with Tech Alex. And I will point out as well, Lemondogs asked me to give Sambi a shout out. So shout out to Sambi if you're in the stream chat, which I presume you are. Hence why they asked me to give you a shout out. So shout out to you for some reason from the team. So lucky you, as Tech Alex gets dropped there by Nixon, who was over towards that A bomb site. But we're now on board with Tech Marks, the player that has been going clutch for his team, but no, he's going to get turned on by Mallow. Swan shutting down Nixon there, and that is going to be a 2 versus 3 scenario. And Tech are on match point. We're on board with Swan. He's got out his Cat 4. He goes for a few shots, and oh no, he's missed a few. Virex is going to take down Stoltz though. Swan just doing a cheeky little straight up across the window, and he's going to get line of sight on someone at the tank, but again, missing those shots. But this is again where that time limit comes in. 34 seconds left for Tech to make something happen. Can they produce the goods?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm fairly new to the competitive scene recently. Like, I used to play competitively back a few years ago. I used to watch a competitive game every now and then, but just watching some of the competitive players and their setups and the way they position themselves and their little areas that they like to sit on, as Mallow picks up a nice little kill there. Really wasn't much advantage for Virix in that one. He might be able to pick up a second, but no. I think that is the first defensive round that has been lost. Mallow getting a little bit too eager there, and Svan picks him up with a nice little kill to win the round. But it's interesting to see how they all position themselves. They're very careful about where they put themselves. They know where the lines of sights are. They know where the cover is and how to position themselves. And it's very, very interesting to watch someone like me who kind of just pub stomps and runs around and just doesn't really think too much about what he's doing, to see these guys kind of how much time they must invest just sitting on a map by themselves and looking at each individual spot, where to set up, where people are going to come from, and all the kind of, I suppose I should call them head glitches, really. I don't like to call them head glitches, but yeah, just watching the way they set up is incredibly, incredibly interesting, and I have to give them huge props for the way that they play their game.
Yep, I agree with you there. Is just to bring to the point winners bracket final, Tech 2-1 up, meaning they are now match point. They only now need to win one more map, and the next map is going to be CTF on Plaza. Now, Plaza is just one of those maps where it just, to me, seems so inconsistent. The spawns, they just seem to spawn everywhere. I was playing a league play CTF Plaza the other day, and people were just spawning behind me all the time, and it just got frustrating. That's the only way I'm ever going to describe it. It just got frustrating. But we're going to give this a go. We're going to be on board with Tech first of all, and host is... Whoa, I'm not sure what happened. Oh, Brycey's actually joined the game. Wow. Thanks, Mr. Bryce. He's not actually in on Skype.
Get Bryce out of esports, please.
See, even Trout knows it. Trout knows it. From trying everyone to get Brycey out of esports.
God, Bryce, you just ruin everything. Just joining without being wanted. Come on, son.
It's just not good enough. God damn it.
It's just not professional. Come on, we're trying to do something here, and you're just disrupting the game.
Trout getting hate. Sorry, Brycey getting hate from Trout. Gotta love that. That's priceless. But yes, in fact, you know what? We'll get on board with Lemondogs first of all. I want to see Lemondogs because they're the ones that are going to be under pressure. Under pressure. Din 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 din. Dun, 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 dun. No, just me. Okay, just me apparently.
Gonna let you sing that one on your own, big boy.
But yeah, apparently the rules were wrong. But the game is going to get underway now. Now, yes, Lemondogs, they need to pick up this map, otherwise they are going to drop down into the losers bracket final, where obviously they're not going to be out just yet. It is a double elimination, but Tech playing so very, very well, yet to actually lose a match. And obviously, if they do win this, they would have obviously continuation series if it is Lemondogs, who people have said are going to be in the final. People have always said, you know, Lemondogs look very strong, they should be in the final. So this is their chance now to really try and prove it. Obviously, Tech played very, very well at EGL 6. Very, very well indeed. Unfortunately, I think they received a third placement, but Tech trying to better it this time, and they are just one map away from doing so. We're on board with Lemondogs Mallow, who is making his way up towards the B Domo area, and he's just going to try and give his team a little bit of support.
They've definitely learned a lot better from the previous Capture the Flag game, where they kind of rushed things, didn't really make organized pushes, and it seems like Mallow was waiting for the flanks to be covered and get some sort of advantage, take a couple of them out, and he then pushed into the middle of the map when he knew it was clear, trying to secure the middle of the map, see if he can get some shots fired on anyone, and watch his team as they progressively move up the flanks.
Yeah, it's the smarter way of doing it is just to play for that map control. Let one or two players rush. Let your ARs just take it a little slow, which is what Stoltz was doing. He's playing very, very passively. I mean, he actually, he's Stoltz right now 1-0. He's seen one person, hasn't died. He's taking his time rotating around the edge of the map. And you see now he's actually decided to play a little bit more defensively. He's actually backtracked all the way to back restaurant, pre-aiming his own flag, anticipating a TEC push, and there is that TEC push. That's going to be Virix. Virix gets shut down. Now, once again, Stoltz makes that kill. He's going to push up and apply a little bit of pressure on that TEC lineup as he fights for that map control.
Stoltz playing very well at the moment. He seems to be locking down a lot of the areas more. He's doing a lot of the defensive work. He knows what he wants to do. He doesn't want to push up too far. He's going to let his other teammates do the running and the flag carrying. It seems he's just trying to keep them at bay for the majority of this game, rather than actually being the one to go in there and making shit happen.
Indeed. it's a true, it's just a good way of putting it. But we're on board with Stoltz again. Still 4-0, 4-kill streak, playing passively, just taking his time. For map control, he is going to see Martin. Oh, wallbang. Mart's just got destroyed through the wall. And, Stoltz is just playing very, very passively, just trying to control the map as much as possible. Nixon top fragging for his team, 8-4. So back to the good old Nixon we know and love. He has actually just been down back a flag. But Stoltz now pushing, being a little bit more aggressive, trying to get the tech players in a spawn trap. Virex saying, I don't think so. And he's going to try and shut it out. But 2 minutes 27 still to go, and we still yet to see a flag out.
Yeah, I think Stoltz there possibly should have pushed up once he saw Nixon get right into the flag. He was there alone, and Stoltz is still kind of sitting back, and that's one time he's been playing the passive way that he should be, but once you see that 2 of your teammates have been taken down, Nixon was so far up into that area, he needed to start pushing forward, get his MSMC out, and start creating a little bit of havoc, see if they can distract him long enough for Nixon to get the flagpole and make a run for it.
Flag has been dropped.
Doesn't seem like either team are going to be able to pull those flags as TMW gets the return. Mark's taking down Stoltz with the nade, but let's have a look. Can TMW get any more map control? That's the question. You see him making his way towards that B Domo area, but isn't going to be able to see anyone just yet. Has to take it a little slow. And again, this is the problem with this map. I mean, Plaza, the CTF, the spawns are so very random. There is no sort of set spawn trap, I guess you could say. I mean, it's just so hard to predict the spawns where your team actually need to be. Because in most maps, you really need like 2 players to sort of hold a position, and you know where the enemy are going to spawn. Whereas with Plaza, it seems you need 3 or 4 players to be in one set position for them to guarantee spawn back of their flag on the far right hand side, which is just so difficult to do. As TMW is now going to be left alive on his flag, and he has got the stuns and nades off, so he should be okay. Virex and Svan bearing down on the flag. There is Virex. He gets shut down by TMW. Where has Svan gone? That is the question. He's going to be somewhere in the restaurant, but Mallow shuts him down. Great play coming from Lemondogs.
Our flag has been taken.
Yeah, this map is it's very interesting to watch how this entire game plays out, because once you're around the flag area, there are a lot of places that people could be hiding, and you think it's a very easy flag kill, flagpole even, you think you're going to get away with it, and out of nowhere someone's sitting just behind a desk or in a corner or in one of the many buildings that seem to overlook the flag. So it's very much a case of you want to take as many people down before you actually make the flagpole for a map like this, whereas the map overflow, there's not so many places to hide, so you can usually get a flagpole and you can sometimes get away with it, but on a map like this, it's a very long way as well from each flag, whereas in the last one, overflow, there was a very easy way to go through the alleyway and just get straight to your flag, very quick and easy way to get there. But it's interesting to watch how each team is setting up and how they struggle to try and pull the flag.
Yep, it can be a bit of a struggle, especially this map, because a lot of people have said CTF in competitive game is slowed right down compared to what we saw in Modern Warfare 3, where we used to see flag caps left, right, and centre, I suppose you could say. I mean, we saw lots of fast pulls, whereas, for example, in 5 minutes gameplay, we've only seen 1 real flag pull. I mean, not a lot of people even touch the flag, I guess, but we'll change team, get on board with the Tech lineup, who are 1-0 in the lead with a great pull right at the very end of that game. I'm now actually on board with Tech Alex, as Marks gets shut down very early on, and Alex is actually just wallbanged someone. That was a great play there coming from him, and we default over to Mr. Svan.
I'm gonna have to switch to Tech. I've been watching Lemondogs far too much. I feel love for them. They're behind at the moment. I want them to do well, just because I'm always gonna support the person who's losing, regardless of who they are. I could be supporting one team and then they start winning, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna go support the other team.
Oh, you just want close games. That's good.
Yeah, I love a good close game. Who doesn't? They're always fun.
Good close game of Call of Duty.
Absolutely. So I think now it's 1-0 up. They need to start thinking, okay, let's try and get some sort of map control. Let's start getting the whole entire area kind of put down. It looks like Marks is taking the advice I gave. Well, advice, I say it's something that people should do, is kind of, even though when you're winning, try and get in there and make a nuisance for yourself. He's checking out the whole area. He really doesn't want to give him an excuse to go on the attack, and he's just kind of putting himself in there, and he's going to make a nuisance of himself and try and keep their focus off of their flag for as long as possible. As you see, he's not staying in an area for too long. He's moving about. He could easily just sit up on that balcony for as long as he wants and pick people off if he can, because I don't think he's going to get contested too hard on that balcony, but he is trying to make a nuisance of himself, and he does a good job of distracting them for long enough, and it seems to have really pulled off for them as they actually make a flagpole here, and unfortunately I believe it is... Who's got the flag? Alex has got the flag. He seems to be in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't really know where the other team is, and he needs a little bit of backup. Fortunately enough, Virex was there to help him out, and it seems he might be able to get the flag cap in the end.
Yeah, again, that all comes down to the just random spawns on this map. However, Virex and Alex have been shut down by Nixon, and he's going to actually get the return. Nixon with the pistol switch on Marks as well, playing very, very well indeed. Smart's going to have to backtrack to his own flag, and he's going to get shut down by the nade, and Lemondogs are going to pull this flag. Virex needs to go big for tech right now. Takes down one. Where is that flag running? Has he got a stun and a nade? He does indeed. He's got that Semtex, goes for the cap, but shut down from behind. And unless Marks can play some sneaky ninja tactics right now and go big for tech, this should be a flag cap as 3 Lemondog players turn the corner and immediately destroy him. However, Smart's in a good little place, but it looks like he's actually going to give up on that flag, let that go in and try and regroup.
If I was Marks there, I would have probably picked up the flag and made a run for it, because that way you can't cap the flag. You just need to stop them from capping the flag. They had 3 people pushing on that. Marks was in no man's land essentially, and unfortunately he got taken down, and then there was only 1 person left, and he unfortunately got taken down. They got a flag cap, but it looks like TEC might be able to get the flag cap here. It would be a very good counter play, and sometimes the best time to get a good flag cap going is on the counter right after they cap something, because they'll be thinking, okay, let's set ourselves up, let's try and compose ourselves, whereas TEC are already thinking, let's get this flag back and put ourselves back in the lead, and they did just that, and it's paid off very well for them. So a small mistake from Marks unfortunately cost them, but they have rectified that and they put themselves back in the lead.
Yep, they have indeed. 1 minute 17 still to go. Can Lemondogs try and pull something out the bag right at the very end? We're on board with Tech Alex, who is just going to try and take his time. Marks has actually pulled the flag as well, but unfortunately he gets dropped by Mallow straight away.
Our flag has been taken.
Lemondogs trying to pull the flag away, immediately shut down though, so we're seeing lots of kills being exchanged very quickly. Nixon has actually pulled that flag, and this is the time for him to go huge. He's shut down Spawn. Can Alex get the kill? Yes, he can, and he's going to get that return. 52 seconds left of this round. Flag pulled by Tech, so we're seeing lots of flag pulls in the last few minutes of this game, but the question is, can Tech control the spawns? Alex took down Stoltz, couldn't take down Mallow though.
Yeah, it looks like TEC are really locking down this area. They're really locking down the entire map control. I think Lemondogs, again, they panic a little bit. I probably would do too, and they're making harsh decisions. They're not really thinking it through. They're not composing themselves properly, and we're coming into the dying seconds when your composure needs to be at its full. And it's unfortunately costing them. I think they managed to make a pull on it. TEC also making a pull, so even if they can get back to their flag, they're not going to be able to make the cap straight away. And on Tech getting the pullback, and it seems like this is going to be game, set, and match for TEC.
It is indeed. TEC are going to take this winners bracket 3 maps to 1. A great result for Tech, taking down Lemondogs. Unfortunately, Lemondogs not able to pull the flags as efficiently as Tech. And you can see there the final kill cam, Tech Alex shutting down the flag carrier with the support there of Swan. So good play from that. So that is going to mean Tech are actually going to be in the grand final. So they have improved on their 3rd placement at EGL6. They're now guaranteed top 2. They were already guaranteed some prize money. They've just gone in there, made sure that they earn that little bit more. So well played, obviously, to Tech. And obviously, I have been casting the past, has it been 4 games? I believe it's 4 games with Trout91. So show your appreciation to him. Go give him a cheeky little follow on Twitter. I will copy and paste his Twitter link in the shout box now. It's at the Trout91. Show his appreciation. Say, good job casting, and see if you wanted to cast a little bit more.
Too kind.
Just go give him a cheeky follow, say congrats on the casting, well done, etc. Even replace Benson with Trout, try and get that going. Apparently a lot of people don't like me anymore. That's just on the way.